talking to a guy out here this morning, literally just before I walked in, and he was talking about the pollution in just literally out the window here is the river Windrush, and there's a big campaign over here at the minute in local towns. I've forgotten the name of it. I would give them a shout out. Something clean up the Windrush or something. Sorry, that's probably butchered their actual name, but anyway, it's there's a feeling amongst also land managers who manage the land around here that they're being unfairly picked on for the pollution here, because even the guy I was speaking to this morning said, it's probably all the stuff running off the farms, where in reality I know this campaign has 2 sewage plants within about 15 miles who are directly releasing sewage into the river, which I think from most of the tests that this charity has done contributes mostly from human waste. So it's from the sewage works not treating their waste properly and releasing raw sewage into the waterways at times when the water's high. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's a feeling, at least amongst landowners here, that people are unfairly picking on them, when in reality, I saw a report. I don't know how accurate that would be, and again, it's far back in my memory now, so this could be wrong, that the sewage is 60% or 70% of the pollution in waterways in the UK anyway. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think there needs to be a sort of more holistic approach, isn't there? A sort of all-round approach to responsibility, as if farmers aren't allowed to plough at certain times of the year. I know that happened in Wales with the regulations they're bringing in. Where's the accountability for also sewage plants that are releasing human waste directly into a waterway? I mean,
I think it's a challenge, isn't it, when you're communicating to people who, when they can see that other things are going on, unregulated or without sufficient regulation and oversight, and they feel they're being blamed for it. I actually used to work for a river conservation charity for a few years, so familiar with some of these pollution issues. I know that a massive problem in rivers though is siltation, and as a key pollutant, actually the soil itself, rather than what brings with it, is one of the key one of the key things that does damage to aquatic ecosystems. So it depends what pollutant you're looking at, but the main ones that come off farms are fertilizer. So you get eutrophication of the water bodies, where you've got too much fertilizer in the water, and it you get algal growth, and then it deoxygenates the water, and you get die-off of species in there, as well as the siltation, which can do things like clog up gravels and prevent breeding fish from spawning. So there's some really damaging impacts from farming on rivers. But like you say, waste management facilities are massive single point pollution. Well as things like domestic septic tanks is a really big issue in rural areas as well. And I think people underestimate the amount of damage that those are causing. So there's a whole range of issues around river pollution. I guess the one thing I would say is a bit of a kind of, I hope, a light-hearted, a well-meaning challenge to those people is it is always somebody else's problem, isn't it? It's it's always, yes, this should happen, but I can't do it. Yes,
not in my backyard as well. That sort of same mind frame.
Exactly. We need more wind turbines, but I don't want to have to see them, and this sort of thing, and we're all guilty of it. So, that's why I'd say to kind of some of the farmers is to say, there might be other big issues, but this is the problem that's coming from your land, and here's some solutions.
And what are the solutions there actually? What can those people do if they own land that's either on a floodplain or which they believe is contributing to siltation or anything like this? Can they do anything easily, simply? Any tips on what they can do? Or
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of quite far away from my current role and what I've been and giving this sort of advice, but I mean, one thing is about giving watercourses enough space. So we tend to canalize and farm right up against watercourses. Now that inevitably causes problems, because whatever's going on that land is in immediate contact with that watercourse. And as soon as it's in a watercourse, it's connected with obviously all other watercourses in that catchment. Giving rivers and giving streams space. So buffer strips is a really important part of that. But also, like you said, ploughing at the right time of year, not applying fertilizer just before it's about to rain. Amazing. Most farmers are aware of this kind of stuff, and are really good at dealing with it, but some don't, or some get caught out. So just planning better in that sort of way is important. But yeah, I mean, and it depends. Different catchments will have different problems. Some catchments, there are real problems with animal farming, and you get erosion. So you get sheep grazing right up to the edge of a watercourse. You've probably seen it yourself. The banks get lined and collapse, and then you get lots of soil introduced to the watercourse, as well as problems for that landowner, because they're losing land into the river. So yeah, it's about giving them space, and I would say actually reducing our the overall amount of agricultural land that we have in the UK. Again, although that's a scary prospect for some farmers and landowners, would help to reduce those impacts. And the main thing that we're using land for, the single biggest land use, is pasture farming. So and also the demand that we have for feed for more intensive systems. So actually reducing the extent of agricultural land is one route out of that, and that would be probably the vegan one.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, yeah, perfect. Cheers. It's been quite a talk. I mean, I think a lot of people that I speak to will be surprised at a lot of what the Vegan Society is promoting. But yeah, I'm sure you've got any shout outs you want to make. I mean, go to the Vegan Society website, guys, and read what you want. And if you want to try vegan,
I'd say
on there.
Exactly. Get in touch if you've got any questions about the Grow Green campaign. Get in touch with us. Check out some of the resources on our website. And some of our reports, and check out the Alternatives to Grazing report. And yeah, if there are younger vegans listening, I think rural young people is a really interesting kind of agents of change, a really interesting group of people. And these conversations are happening around the ethics of eating animal products within farming families and within rural families. So check out our nutritional resources and stuff as well. Yeah,
perfect. Yeah, I know my sister she's now gone vegetarian, so it shows you
Great.
It does happen. Yeah, guys, right, see you next week.